Toasted raviolis. It's a St. Louis staple that originated in the Italian-American neighborhood called The Hill. It also happens to be one of my wife's favorite childhood dishes. Now, she was born in St. Louis, but she was raised here in Florida, but she still always had those opportunities to go back to St. Louis, visit The Hill, and have toasted raviolis as a child. It's something she loves. We've talked about the experiences quite a bit, so I thought, why don't we replicate that today? Why don't we make it from plants? Now, before we make our plant-based toasted raviolis, I want to make our sauce. Toasted raviolis is a side dish. It's commonly served with marinara sauce for dipping and scooping, and I want to make an incredibly simple marinara sauce that you are going to love, and I'm telling you, you're probably going to use it for every pasta dish you make from this point on out because it's so easy and so good. And it starts with a can of Cento San Marzano tomatoes. I specifically use these tomatoes. They're easy to find. I love San Marzanos. These are peeled tomatoes. There's not a whole lot going on to them, but they're really easy to use. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to throw some olive oil in a pan and get it heated up below the smoke point. You don't want it too hot. Then we're going to crush up some garlic. I'm going to use like 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. You use as much as you want to make it garlicky. Toss the garlic in an oil, turn it around for just a second. You do not want this to brown. And then I'm going to use a food mill and mill in the tomatoes. Once the tomatoes are milled in, we're just gonna stir that up, let that cook for a little while on a low heat. Now I like to season my weekday sauce with a little black pepper, salt, oregano, and if you have it, I'm telling you, it makes just that touch of difference. Some of the mushroom seasoning. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can find the mushroom seasoning. It's on my Amazon store. The sauce is going. We're gonna leave that going. I filled up the Cento jar with some water to kind of get the remaining tomato liquid out of there. We're gonna just save that off to the side. As this starts cooking down, we could just add water to allow it to just keep cooking down and really kind of help bring out those flavors. Now, before we get on to the toasted ravioli part, we have to make the ravioli dough. It's really easy. We're gonna start with about 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Now I'm gonna start by making a little volcano in flour here, just like kind of like make the flour sit up around the outside and a little kind of like bowl in the middle. Now I'm gonna be using just egg, but you can use really any egg replacer for this. I mean, even water actually works. We're gonna use about 2 eggs worth, about 6 tablespoons. We're also gonna be adding about a tablespoon of water, a teaspoon of olive oil, and about a teaspoon of salt. And then just slowly mix that together from the center out. Once it's mixed together by hand, we're gonna start to kind of like knead this together. You can see that my dough was too dry, so I added a little bit extra water. Once everything was formable, I was able to bring the dough together. I just poured it out onto a work surface and just kind of started to knead this. Now, you can see I'm not kneading this like crazy. I just want the dough ball to kind of form together. I want to make sure there's no dry bits left in there. Once we have a dough ball, it doesn't need to be fully gluten formed or anything. All we're gonna do is just wrap it up into a ball and tightly cover it with plastic wrap. Now, once it's in this plastic wrap, this is gonna rest and get hydrated up. I mean, at least an hour. I think that works really well. I know some recipes say a half hour. I've noticed that after an hour, this is super pliable and super easy to work with dough. So we're gonna let this sit aside. Hey gang, real quick, let me tell you about today's sponsor. Geology is the fastest growing men's skincare brand in the USA, and everyone is talking about them. Cracked recently said that Geology makes men's skincare less scary, and they do. As far as men's skincare was concerned, I knew nothing, and Geology fixed that. All you do is head to their website and take the quiz. They then personalize a skincare regimen just for you. I got regimen number 1, which means I wash my face first thing in the morning, and then I apply a morning face cream that has a UV protectant, which helps reduce blemishes and discoloration, which down here in Florida is pretty important. Then at night, I just wash my face again. I apply an under eye cream and a night cream. The night cream prevents wrinkles and makes my skin smoother and softer. It really does. And I am absolutely loving the results I'm getting from Geology. It's only a few minutes in the morning and a few minutes in the evening. It's super easy and I am seeing results. I'm loving it, and so is Monica. So gang, click the link in the description below and head to Geology's website. Take their free skincare quiz and save up to 40% off when purchasing your first personalized trial set. So I know a lot of you are like me and have been using Geology for a while and loving it. So head over to your account and upgrade your regimen. The plans are starting at just $20. Save up to 40% off on your first purchase. Click the link in the description below. Geology, thank you so much again for sponsoring today's video. I'm loving the way you make me look. Now we need to make the filling for our raviolis. Traditionally, toasted raviolis are made from beef raviolis. We're gonna be doing a Beyond Meat for our filling. You can make the beef, you can use any of the TVP that I've used in the past for this recipe. I think it's gonna come out great. Even my carrot meat video that I did, I think that would come out really great too. Today we're gonna just stick with simple and easy because, you know, it's 4 o'clock and I'm gonna make this for dinner. So we're gonna do the Beyond Beef raviolis, but one of the things that toasted raviolis requires is Parmesan cheese. Now, I didn't buy a store-bought vegan Parmesan cheese. We're just gonna make that really simple using cashews. All I'm gonna do is throw cashews into a small food processor with a little bit of nutritional yeast and vegan lactic acid. That's gonna really give it that cheesy kind of flavor. I'm also gonna toss in a little bit of salt and blend. I'm just gonna pulse that until we get that Parmesan texture. I mean, it really is wild how much that comes out like Parmesan cheese. And it's rich, it's really great. Now, the cool thing is, we're gonna use a few tablespoons for this recipe. The rest of this can store in like a little container in the fridge, use it when you want, top it on your pastas and your bakes, things like that. It's gonna be good. It's really good on pizza. So now our beef filling is really easy. Let's just get a skillet on the stove, toss in some olive oil, a little bit of garlic and onion, and throw in our Beyond Meat and cook it. Okay, so the meat is done. We're just going to pour this into a bowl. It looks awesome. Okay, so the meat is in the bowl. It's cooling down. We're just gonna add some of our seasonings now. So I'm just gonna do some kosher salt. I like to do, you know, not too much kosher salt, just enough, salty as you like it. Now you can use fresh parsley, but personally I just like to use this like dried Italian parsley. It comes out really nice. We're gonna do a decent amount. We probably want a few tablespoons of this. It's gonna be an important flavor aspect of this meat. And now we're gonna do about 3 tablespoons of our Parmesan cheese mixture here. This is really gonna give it a nice flavor, just a super nice flavor. And then the cool thing is the meat is going to kind of hydrate up that cashew Parmesan, making it even extra Parmesan-y, you know, making it extra, you know, that have that nice kind of glutinous, cheesy taste in there. This is gonna be good. I'm telling you, this is gonna be really good. Monica's gonna be super surprised. Wow, that was good. So now let's just set this aside. We're gonna allow it to cool down. Once it cools down, we're gonna add about a tablespoon of our Just Egg mixture in here, or whatever your favorite egg replacer is. You want something that's gonna kind of bind this together just a little bit more, so that way when it's in the ravioli, it tastes like a little, almost like a little meatball, but maybe not as dense. So the dough has had time to rest. It looks really good. I believe this is gonna come out pretty phenomenal. All we're gonna do is cut our dough ball into about 4 equal size pieces. And then we're just gonna make sure that these stay covered while you're rolling out. But we're gonna roll each one of these dough balls into about a 10 by 8 sheet. Now, I don't typically do it on my wood cutting board. I do it on my little cutting board here, which has like a little groove in the panel and just happens to be about that size. So I just want to kind of get it to be about that size. Okay, that was a lot of work. We have 4 doughs. I rolled them out and then I cut them into about 6 by 8 sheets. Now, each one of these sheets is going to be pretty close, and I kind of like looked through the light to determine to see if, you know, they were all about the even amount of thinness or thickness that we want. So 2 of these sheets are going to be our base sheets. 2 of these sheets are going to be our top sheets. We're going to do about 2-inch ravioli. So I'm going to just score just a 2-inch line in our ravioli. You don't want to cut, you just want it to, you know, you just want to make the mark. Then we're going to do 2-inch squares the other way, and we're going to do that on both sheets. Then all we need to do is top these. We're going to do about 1 teaspoon of our meat filling per square. Once all the squares are filled, take our top sheet and gently place it over the top. Then all we're gonna do is just press gently around the meat and then seal the edge and then cut these into raviolis. I mean, look at the way they're coming out. So all we need to do is just cut these into our raviolis, and then I'm just gonna use a fork to kind of pinch them together. Once they're pinched together, I'm gonna make my breading station. So I have one bowl that has some Italian breadcrumbs in it. Make sure you take a look for vegan Italian breadcrumbs, that they're not always plant-based. It just doesn't seem like it makes sense, but sometimes for breadcrumbs, they put egg and milk in it. Doesn't make sense. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of parsley, some oregano, garlic powder. I'm gonna use about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of my cashew Parmesan cheese. That's in my breading bowl. Now in my wet bowl, I just have about 3 eggs worth of an egg replacer. I'm using just egg, and I'm gonna do about 1.5 cups of water. Now this is super easy. I have some oil in a skillet that's heating up to temp. All I'm gonna do is take my raviolis, one at a time, dump them in the egg replacer, make sure they're nice and coated. Once they're coated, toss them into the bread mixture. Now, I'm just gonna kind of leave these in here just so they get nice and tossed, and I'm gonna do a few of them. Once I have a few of these all kind of coated up enough to cook, then I'm just going to toss them in my hot oil, and we're gonna cook them until they're nice golden brown. These are coming out amazing. Honestly, they're almost coming out better than I expected. I just love this. I mean, it looks like a toasted ravioli. I just can't wait for Monica to see this. It's been a surprise.
I've heard you talking about it all day.
Oh, no. Really?
Oh yeah, I've just heard you when I've been at my office talking about it all day. But I was like stoked when I heard that. I was like, oh my God, it's my favorite meal. I'm so excited.
I really wanted this to be like a surprise.
It was a surprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, toasted raviolis from St. Louis. I nailed them, baby.
I mean, it looks like toasted ravioli from St. Louis.
Does this look like what they serve on the Hill?
Yes, and the pasta house.
Okay, yeah, which is, Monica loves the pasta house. So let's dig in. I mean, they just look.
They look amazing.
So good.
I can't wait. Oh my God, this is just fabulous. This is so exciting because I haven't had this in years, and you can't find like vegan toasted ravioli.
This is so good. I mean,
It's like the best ever.
this is so good. Does the outside taste the same? I'll let you get it. It has a little bit of a Beyond Meat, so I'll save you there. I think you could taste a little bit of the Beyond Meat, but it doesn't taste like a meat ravioli from St. Louis.
Yes, it tastes like a meat toasted ravioli. I mean, the texture's the same. It's got a nice crunch to it. It tastes toasted, even though I know you told me it's not really toasted.
Yeah, they're not toasted.
The cheese, everything is the same. To me, like, it's perfect.
So recently we made the video over New Year's where we made my family's tradition, kielbasa and sauerkraut, and I made it vegan. And we just made Monica's favorite dish from St. Louis. It's a staple of St. Louis. This was your favorite childhood dish. So I want to know, what is your favorite childhood dish from your region? For me, it was kielbasa and sauerkraut from Youngstown, Ohio. For Monica, it was the St. Louis toasted raviolis. I want to know what your region's staple is that you loved growing up. Send me a video. You can send it to me on Instagram, you can send it to me on Twitter, just explaining what your favorite childhood dish was from your region. And if you know a recipe, like how it's made when it's not vegan, I'm gonna make it plant-based. I wanna try your traditions from your region because this came out awesome. Thank you. That's what so,
He can make anything awesome.
Oh, baby. Let's make some traditions this year, but make them out of plants.